The Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence. The New York Jets select Zach Wilson. The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields.
Select Mac Jones.
Jones and Wilson and Lance, oh my. These guys suck. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, but the 2021 NFL QB class was supposed to be one of the best of all time. From top to bottom, each and every one of them were supposed to be stars according to the media. Well, it didn't quite work out that way so far. Now, I'm not going to say all these guys are going to be a complete bust yet, but I also feel comfortable saying that none of these guys are going to be stars. However, one of these guys I feel can have a good career and could be a long-term QB for his franchise, but more on that in a bit. But look, before we get started, we work pretty hard on these videos, so if you would, can you please just click that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel, as we're pretty new and we are looking to grow. Okay, so let's hate on this group of QBs. First off, we got Trevor Lawrence. Since his days at Clemson, I never got the Trevor Lawrence hype. It's not that I thought he sucked or anything, because he didn't. It's just that people were so desperate to compare him to Andrew Luck as the best prospect since, Peyton Manning or whatever they say about him, and I felt like that was completely undeserved. He was at peak during his time at Clemson with a loaded team. Now, not that being on a good squad should be a blemish on him, but he just disappeared on the big stage. With the exception to his freshman season against Alabama, he just was not a big factor in these big games that he played in. Now, pro scouts love the big, tall guy with a big arm, which Lawrence does have, but there's more to the QB position than just that. His rookie season was a disaster, but obviously that was not all he was doing. His coach wasn't giving him a helping hand, and the whole Jags franchise was in disarray. Now, Lawrence, despite that, played okay at times, but was wildly inconsistent. Going into his second year, the Jags brought in Super Bowl winning head coach Doug Peterson, and honestly, it feels like more of the same. Lawrence just hasn't been playing well enough to win these games, and he's not the difference maker that everybody thought he was going to wind up being. Now, the second quarterback pretty much is the worst of the entire pack. We're talking about Johnny Lawrence. Zach Wilson. Now, he was a complete wild card coming into the league. On one hand, he did things at BYU that looked a lot like Patrick Mahomes, so he had some wild expectations because the kid does have talent. But this kid goes way out of his way to make everything look flashy and just does not seem to get the mental part of the game, which is the most important to play QB. And it doesn't really seem like his teammates really like him that much. Now, instead of looking like Patrick Mahomes, he's looking more like the guy that played for the Jets before him, Sam Darnold. And instead of scoring touchdowns, he's scoring with Stifler's mom. The next player with the third pick was Trey Lance. Now, it's not really fair to call him a bust just yet. Not only has the kid only barely played, but he barely played in college as well. He's in San Francisco with one of the best offensive coaches in the league in Kyle Shanahan. And if you believe the rumors, even though the 49ers traded to the third pick overall to get him, they didn't even necessarily want Lance. They wanted Mac Jones, who we'll talk about why he sucks later. Now, before the 2022 season, the 49ers were committed to making Lance the starter and even had Jimmy G on the trading block. Right before the season, Shanahan committed to bringing Jimmy G back as a backup, which indicates they were not sold on Trey Lance to begin with. Now, even though Lance got hurt in week 2, he did nothing to show he's a good quarterback so far. All reports out of San Fran was that the kid didn't go through his progressions and will need a ton of work. San Fran has a win-now roster, so my guess is even if they move on from Jimmy G for good after the season, they'll bring in another vet. And if Lance is going to become a good NFL quarterback, it won't be in a 49ers uniform. The next guy taken with the 11th pick was Justin Fields, and so far, he's showed that he's the best of the bunch. The guy is super athletic and is really showing out, similar to how Lamar Jackson was early in his career. Now, he's truly taken a step forward this year and proved he could be the long-term solution in Chicago. And Bears fans are probably loving hearing that because they've been basically looking for a long-term replacement since Jim McMahon left town. Now, the big question about Fields is he going to stay healthy with that playing style? Those are the same questions that plagued Lamar Jackson since he got into the league. And while he missed a little bit of time, he's been pretty durable and has silenced critics for the most part. So we'll see if Fields can do the same. Then at 15, we got Lego Man, aka Mac Jones. So Mac made the Pro Bowl in his rookie season, but was it totally warranted? He played pretty good at times, took care of the ball, and was statistically the best of the rookies last year, but he wasn't really asked to do very much either. There was one game against the Bills that he went 2 for 3 with 19 yards. And in 2022, under new offensive coordinator Matt Patricia, Jones has taken a big step back. Now his backup Bailey Zapp has looked better than he has in limited playing time, but the Pats are still winning despite Jones, not looking very good. So I doubt Bill Belichick thinks he's the long-term solution at quarterback, but that remains to be seen. Other noticeable QBs taken in the draft were Davis Mills, who looks like a full-blown giraffe and is really not that good, and Sam Ehlinger, who took over as QB in the middle of the toilet bowl, also known as the Colts season, for 2 games. There's a few guys that haven't been given a chance yet, like Kyle Trask in Tampa Bay and Kellen Mond in Minnesota, and I'm not expecting much from them. But I'm anxious to see what Fields is going to do. Besides that, I'm thinking that this is going to be a bunch of journeyman QBs when it's all said and done. What do you think? Do you think any of these guys are going to wind up having a good career? Do you think that this QB class is as disappointing as I'm saying it is? Leave me a comment below, and again, if you can, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.